My strictly platonic friendship became physical once he broke up with his girlfriend. But now he's not talking to me and regrets what we did because he does not find me attractive. I've known my friend since middle school. We were neighbors and went to the same schools, and we've always been super close. Until very recently, there were absolutely no romantic feelings or attraction between us. He's always just been my friend. A few months ago, we had a falling out. He was dating this crazy girl who was treating him like crap. She was super controlling over him. We pretty much never saw each other after they started dating. He called me one night to complain about her not giving him any space, and I told him exactly what I thought about her. I did not like her. She was rude, and he could definitely have been doing better. When I told him all of that, he blew up at me. He said I was meddling in his relationship and that I didn't know her. He called me some pretty harsh words and told me I was jealous. I had no feelings for him at the time other than seeing him as my best friend. I wasn't jealous. I just missed my friend and thought he should be treated better. After that call, we didn't talk much at all for months. Until 2 weeks ago. He stopped hanging around our friend group. When I was there and he didn't return my messages, well, they broke up. And while he didn't message me right away, he eventually started sending me stuff on Instagram, just memes and reels, nothing much. And we didn't talk about his breakup. That is, until last week, when he called me and apologized for just falling out with me. He told me I was right about her controlling him, and he said that she didn't want him talking to me because she thought I wanted him. We made up, and I met him at his place to hang out for the first time in months. When we were hanging out, we were getting really physically close in a way that we had never done before, and we ended up hooking up. I never thought that would happen with him. I think maybe not seeing him for a while made me miss him, to the point that new feelings developed. Like an hour after he told me that we shouldn't have hooked up, that I was like a sister to him, and that he wasn't attracted to me at all. We got into an argument, and I ended up leaving without staying the night. Now we're back to not really talking at all. He'll send a funny thing he saw on Instagram every other day, but he won't discuss anything with me at all. I don't know what to do. He's been my best friend forever, and now we've had 2 back-to-back falling outs. I don't know how I feel about him, but I don't want to lose him from my life. Do I just give this time? Do I call him and insist that we talk about what happened? This is really tearing me apart. Relevant comments? Comment 1, I'm not one to assume, but I'll throw 3 guesses out. 1. He is holding out hope that girl will come back, but sleeping with you may piss her off and mess that up. 2. He really doesn't know how to process this and what the future may hold for you too, if anything. 3. He really just wanted intimacy and friendship be damned. You were there, now he's post-nut and pissed. Just my guesses. Response: one of the few things he said after is that he was just intimately excited after his breakup. But we've known each other for most of our lives. I don't think he would be that whatever with me. Comment 2, based on comments, it seems like you've had a bit of avoidance around intimacy and relationships. TBA, I think getting to the root of that may be a little more important than this friendship, which seems a little shaky anyway. Maybe you're just asexual, but I kind of don't think so since you've done some messing around before, and now have confusion around your feelings toward your friend. Have you tried dating before and Ernest ever used dating apps? Have you talked with a therapist or anyone else not your friend about this? To be honest though, as far as your friend goes, I sort of feel like he just used you. Maybe he was just caught up in the moment. Not trying to say that he's a monster, and I don't have enough information to say something like that, but what we do know from your comments is that he's cheated on his girlfriends in the past, that he treated you kind of shabbily during this last relationship, and then had intimacy with you just because he was in the mood, and then immediately became avoidant again. Is he confused about his own feelings? Maybe. But even if so, I'm not sure if this is really the guy for you, considering the way he's treated you. And I'm getting the sense from your post that somewhere deep down, you do have a desire for an actual relationship with someone. I don't think that's impossible to find, but you do need to make an effort to find it if it's something you want. And you need to figure out if indeed it's something you want. Generally, not just with this guy. Comment 3, so you immediately sleep within the chance you guys meet in person after they break up? I feel like you're not a reliable narrator in this story because it seems like his ex-girlfriend was right in sensing you wanted him, didn't want him to talk to you if after his breakup, he came crawling to you to sleep with. And it sounds like he just wanted intimacy. Because he said right after he wasn't attracted to you and this isn't a deeper romantic relationship longing, or else he wouldn't have said you're only like a sister. I'd love to hear this from the ex's side, because from her POV, he went right to sleep with you when he first hangs out with you again. I know you're hurting. I also think this is not the full story, and he's not a real friend to you. No real friend would sleep with you when they're horny and lonely after a breakup and wanting a hookup. Rebound, tell you they're not attracted to you after, then go back to low contact. Update: a lot happened in just a few days since I last posted. First, thank you for all the feedback. I was having a hard time admitting that I was mistreated, and it's pretty clear that I've been in denial about my feelings for my friend for a long time. A few comments in particular made me realize how obviously jealous I had been of his exes. I didn't like his last girlfriend because he was spending more time with her than with me. She had a point about me, and I don't really blame her for not wanting me around him as much as I was before. So he texted me Friday night and asked if he could take me out to make up for everything that had happened. I agreed, but told him that we really needed to talk about the past few months, especially the night we slept together. He took me to a really nice place and immediately apologized for a lot. He said he was sorry for ditching me for months, only to message me, sleep with me, and then ditch me again. He apologized for being so cold after taking my V card and not checking in to make sure I was okay. He also said he was sorry for using me for years, admitting that he had been keeping me around for emotional support while not giving me the same support in return. He confessed that his last relationship ended because they were both cheating on each other and that he knows he's a serial cheater. He asked how I've been doing since we hooked up, and it was hard for me to answer. I can admit now that I had wanted it for a long time. I remember wishing he would ask me to dances when we were kids. Our friends tease me about it, but I always shrug it off. I told him that it hurt deeply to have the guy I've known most of my life take my V card and then tell me that he wasn't attracted to me. It was one of the most hurtful things I've ever experienced, and I felt betrayed and used by my best friend. He apologized again and told me he's been attracted to me for a long time. He said he wanted us to be more for years and that I deserved better than the way he treated me. He also admitted that he still had a great time with me that night, and that it was even better than he had imagined it would be. Then he asked if I wanted to try being more than friends. I told him I wanted to, but I didn't know if it would be a good idea. In that same conversation, he told me he was a serial cheater. I couldn't stop thinking about all the comments telling me not to trust his sweet words, that his actions speak louder. I asked him why he thought he would treat me any better than the many other women he's been with and treated terribly, especially after already treating me terribly too. That question made me cry a bit, and he said that I mattered more than anyone else. He said what we had was more special, and that his family, who, as I mentioned in comments, has been like my surrogate family, always thought we would get together. I've never really seen him cry before. He's always been guarded and trying to seem tough, so it was new to see him so vulnerable. I told him that if we were to start dating, I'd want to take a few steps back and go slow. I'm not just going to jump back in bed with him. He needs to prove to me that he can do better. The rest of the date went well. He took me to my favorite dessert place before dropping me off at my apartment. He didn't try to convince me to let him come inside for anything more, but he gave me a very sweet kiss. I think I'm going to try to make this work. I love him. He's been my favorite person for years. I want to be able to trust him. I'm going to make him prove that he means everything he said to me tonight, before I let him get too close.